In 2021, the state of Ohio issued a new vehicle license plate. The illustration at the top featured a plane and a banner reading Ohio, birthplace of aviation. Why were the license plates recalled? I'll say it again. In 2021, the state of Ohio issued a new vehicle license plate. The illustration at the top featured a plane and a banner reading Ohio, birthplace of aviation. Why were the license plates recalled?
I think I know the answer.
Wren, you sit out of this one then. It's on to me and Inés, and I have been to Dayton, Ohio. I have seen the field that the Wright brothers did their early experiments on. And I can't figure out what
My guess is along the lines of, is the placement of the word Ohio, like specifically the H, gonna look like a certain two towers that got hit by a plane and therefore it looks very inappropriate?
No.
What?
Okay.
Sorry.
The way you were reacting, Jenny, I thought they nailed it. Were you both thinking that it was a 9/11 reference accidentally?
I thought it was an unfortunate 9/11 reference, yes.
No, although that would be awful. Has that happened?
I thought you were reacting as in like that was the answer, and I was like, oh, I
react this way to everything. No, I was reacting because I was surprised to hear it. If I knew what she was going to say, I wouldn't have been so surprised. But
Wren, was that what you had in your head as well?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
See, I thought the birthplace of aviation was not in Ohio.
Where did you think it was?
Kitty Hawk, North Carolina.
Why would it be there?
That was the first Wright brothers flight, wasn't it?
What was it? December 3rd, 1903 was the first flight of an airplane, and that was in Kitty Hawk, and I think that's in North Carolina.
Dayton likes to call itself the birthplace of flight. Dayton, Ohio, and Ohio in general. And like the Wright brothers started out there. There were certainly early experiments there. The modern day copy of the Wright B Flyer, like the first commercially produced aircraft, lives in an airport just there in Ohio. So they really do like claiming aviation heritage, even if the actual first flight is up for debate.
Yeah, because the first flight it's the big famous first flight where they flew for like 13 seconds or whatever it was, and that was at Kitty Hawk. And so it depends on the definition of where flight was born. Was it there, or was it all the work that went into the plane beforehand, which I guess was Ohio? So, Ohio, the pregnancy of flight.
The gestation.
Yeah.
I think it is significant that the person who sent in this question is from North Carolina. However, it's not to do with the answer.
Interesting. Okay.
I think you've guessed why a North Carolinian sent this in.
Did someone in North Carolina complain about that statement?
I'm sure they did. What's Ohio going to do about it?
I was going to say the state of North Carolina could complain about that, but there's not much they can really do. It has to be some sort of mistake with the plate itself.
Okay, so describe the plate again.
A plane and a banner reading Ohio, birthplace of aviation.
Surely this has to be something to do with a typo, a design mistake, something like that.
You are quite right to guess that it was the Wright Flyer, the Wright brothers plane.
Okay.
On the license plate.
Okay, I have to just drop a travel story in here. I once filmed in the replica of the Wright B Flyer. There is a working replica, a couple of them actually. There's one in Dayton, Ohio, and they've modernized it to kind of be within modern experimental standards, but you're still just kind of on the front of it. There's not a cockpit. There's just a couple of seats attached to the front and you're strapped in. There's nothing between you and the world other than your goggles. Like if you hit a fly at that speed, it's going in your face.
Oh, rancid.
It's an experience, but they also had to update it a little to make it work. So the early Wright Flyer did not have ailerons or any way to steer it in the air other than flexing the wings. You had to literally sort of slightly collapse one of the wings in order to turn it. So this
Yeah,
is
the whole thing would like flex and twist, right?
Yeah.
This sounds like an insect flying, I have to say.
Well, I mean, that's what they were basing it on. Like, what's nature doing? Well, we can't flap. Let's try this instead.
Is it something like the automobile industry was upset that another vehicle was being celebrated on the license plates, and they were worried it was going to affect the sale of registration plates?
Those darn aircraft taking all our prestige.
I feel like it's something surrounding the context of the plane and the banner and the quote. The placement of it.
And it's a design problem, yeah.
Some sort of thing where it's like this dude from North Carolina, or maybe he brought up the question, but maybe not the original recalling of the plate. But the plate was recalled, so there's some sort of legal reason for the plate to be disqualified from production, I guess.
Or maybe not legal. Maybe it's just really embarrassing. If you're going to be birthplace of flight, and your designer doesn't really know how planes work and has decided to... It's not this because the Wright Flyer just has a prop at the front. But like they put the banner on at the front of the plane and it would have torn through the props and been destroyed or something like that.
Oh, they put the plane backwards.
I was going to say, is that...
No!
They put the plane backwards.
They put the plane
Because
backwards.
the Wright brothers plane is a weird looking plane. It has like the back at the front, and that's how it flies. And then later, years later, that's when they figured, oh, that should go on the back of the plane. And the guy didn't know any better how this plane works, so he had the wrong way.
If I may say, that was going to be my guess, that the plane was backwards.
I could tell both your faces lit up on the video call at the same time, and Ren happened to get the words out first.
Because I was thinking it for a while, but I was like, before I say something else dumb,
that's not how this show works.
You don't want to get it. That's not funny. You don't want to get it right. No, you're exactly right. I'm so glad you guys were answering this question, not me, because I had no idea what the Wright brothers plane looked like. So yes, you are quite right, Ren. The banner was on the wrong side of the Wright Flyer, and there is like a thing on top of at the front of the plane that kind of looks like a tail.
Yeah.
And so the illustrator had drawn it, dragging the banner, pushing the banner in front of it. Extremely embarrassing. And it says down here, North Carolina and Ohio have a long-running dispute about who can claim to be the birthplace of aviation. The Wright brothers were from Ohio, but the first flight took place in North Carolina. As such, North Carolinians found the error particularly funny.
The Lateral book is out now. Just click on the link to get your copy.